Ooh, what's up, nerds and geeks? My name is OMG WTF LOL FTWBRB. Welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. We are playing as the WWF in the year 2001, but more importantly, we are booking Invasion, and we'll be running WCW Smackdown. I should change that, shouldn't I? Not yet. Either way, before we run the show, here in America, it is Thanksgiving, the holiday where I guess we give thanks to everything. It's really the holiday where we all eat, let's be honest. I know I'm excited. If you want to take my strategy, I don't eat anything until the feast. That way I can feast. And then I usually slumber. But that's my strategy. Take it if you want. Either way, I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving here in America, to all my American viewers, and to everybody else, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. It might not be Thanksgiving in your country. I know Canada had theirs a little while back. It's in October, I believe. And I don't know if any other country really celebrates Thanksgiving besides Canada, so excuse me for that. But if you do, happy Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for all of you and your viewership, and your subscription or subscribership or whatever that word is. I don't know. Either way, let's get to SmackDown and let's run this show. We only have one pre-show match tonight just because really there wasn't anybody who really wanted to get on the card that I felt was worthy. We get a C plus here, which is kind of surprising when you have such strong talents in there, but Gregory Helms really must have pulled that down. We have a decent pre-show match where Team Wreck, that's the stable name of Kurt Angle, Edge, Christian, and Rhino. I forgot about it. The team of Angle, Christian, and Edge, by the way, remember this is the pre-show, so it's not that special, defeated the team of Lance Storm, Chris Benoit, and Gregory Helms when Kurt Angle defeated Gregory Helms with the ankle lock. Helms was the weak link of the match, not surprising since he's like an opener. He was struggling to keep up with everyone else's in-ring performance. I really didn't know who the team with Lance Storm and Benoit. I was just like, ooh, I could do Angle and Edge and Christian and Storm and Benoit, but who could team with him? And Gregory Helms was really the only WCW guy that shot out to me. Benoit's performance stood out as being good. Angle came out of the match looking good as well. So we had Gregory Helms at a D plus. Chris Benoit had an A performance. Lance Storm at a B minus. Edge at a B minus. Christian at a B minus. And Kurt Angle at an A. So solid all around minus Gregory Helms. So we move to start the show or open the show, and we get an A rating. Interesting. I guess I messed up on something, so it messed up my my whole written speech. So I'm gonna have to go off script for this one. So in this segment, it's Vince McMahon rated on entertainment. Everybody else rated on overness, minus Shane McMahon, who is also rated on entertainment. So basically, everyone's rated on overness, besides the McMahons, who are rated on entertainment. Vince comes out, and unfortunately, we're not going to get to, hear the whole script, but practically, Vince comes out, and he's all, I guess I'll give you guys a Vince McMahon voice, and he's all, Shane, this upcoming pay-per-view that I've entitled Invasion. This is a horrible Vince McMahon, but it's because I'm going off script, so I gotta think while trying to maintain it and not laugh. I don't know how to describe why it's doing it. Anyway, at Invasion pretty much is what Vince McMahon is saying. We'll see Vince McMahon later on, so you'll get your McMahon voice. Vince McMahon pretty much is saying, Shane, at Invasion, or the upcoming pay-per-view, which I've entitled Invasion, I want my show back, pretty much. I challenged you on Monday Night Raw. I said, you pick a team, I'll pick a team. We'll pick 5 representatives, and we'll face off at Invasion. If you win, I'll hand SmackDown over to you. Excuse me, I had to take a drink. But if I win, you have to leave SmackDown, or leave, and Commissioner Regal, also a little add-in bonus there. Commissioner Regal's contract to be SmackDown commissioner will be terminated. So he was pretty much saying, I haven't heard from you guys since Monday, and you know what? I'm out here, so allow me to introduce you to my team, pretty much. Even though he hasn't really accepted, but Vince McMahon, being cocky and confident, let me introduce you to my team. So he goes down the list. We have the gigantic Big Show, my new bodyguard. We have the WWF Tag Team Champions, The Undertaker and Kane. The Inside Man, Chris Jericho, because, he used to work for WCW. I guess so did Big Show. And then we have the captain of Team WWF, the People's Champion, The Rock. So that leads to Shane McMahon coming out. Shane McMahon's kind of flustered because, he wasn't really prepared for his father being on the Smackdown, and he wasn't really prepared to really issue a statement quite yet. So he's all flustered, and he's, of course, trying to one-up his dad. He agrees, saying, yeah, well, we'll do this match. We'll do it. And then Shane kind of tries to start. Well, we have a little bit of script here because I have the promo. So Shane, once he comes out, he's all like, but Dad, is this your team? Are they supposed to impress me? And then Vince, here we go, everybody. Oh, don't act like you're not shaking in your boots, Shane. We've got my new. Oh, see? Here's when he introduced him. We got my new bodyguard, a man who hates your guts, the Big Show. Then we have the WWF Tag Team Champions and the toughest damn team in the WWF. I'm a little quiet today, so let me move my microphone closer. I'm a little quiet just because there's a lot of people over, and I don't want everyone listening. I don't want to get shit from my stepdad, too, because he always gives me shit. Anyway, the toughest damn team in the WWF, The Undertaker and Kane, the Brothers of Destruction. And then there's my inside man, the man with the plan, not Brian Kendrick, Chris Jericho. And then we have our team captain, the People's Champion, and the man who will lead Team WWF to victory at Invasion, The Rock. Who do you have, Shane? Booker T? Because that's all I see. Then Shane replies, oh, you will see. You'll see all right. I'll have a team, and trust me, they're going to kick your ass. Come on, Book. And then they walk to the back. And I implied this in the earlier part of the promo, but because it wasn't there, it says something happened. It wasn't there, but pretty much Vince poked fun at Shane, saying that when the going gets tough, he, runs away and goes and hides in his room. So as Shane and Book run to the back, Vince McMahon takes the mic and he says, see what I mean, everybody? When the going gets tough, he tucks his tails and runs away. And then I imagine Vince McMahon's music hitting while Paul Heyman and Michael Cole start talking about what we just witnessed and how it is official that we will see Team WCW take on Team WWF at Invasion, and then we officially know Mr. McMahon's team, which we saw there, which is going to be team captain The Rock, Chris Jericho, Vince McMahon's new bodyguard, The Big Show, after we saw what happened on SmackDown a couple of weeks when Vince McMahon got punched by William Regal and as a result had his jaw wired shut for a couple of weeks. I also did this because in the locker room area, the backstage, whatever things, and the notable relationships. I can't show it here, of course, and I can't really click on them to show it. Big Show has a loyalty to Vince McMahon, so I thought that would make a little sense too. Then we have our WWF Tag Team Champions, Undertaker and Kane, and that completes Team WWF right there. Quite an intimidating team. And as of right now, we know Shane has Booker T, at least. So either way, it did deserve better announcing, but that's to be expected when you have Paul Heyman and Michael Cole. Michael Cole not being the best out there. It did get the show off to a strong start, got the crowd hotter. Big Show looked good. Undertaker was the real star in the segment, which is surprising considering the star power in this segment, especially with our figurehead being The Rock. Kane looked good, and both the Invasion storyline and Jericho and Booker T gained heat. No worker improvements, though. We then move on to our next segment. We're back from our commercial break, and we see Shane McMahon backstage. He's alongside Booker T and Diamond Dallas Page. By the way, we got an A rating if you can't see. Shane says, all right, guys, So we just heard my dad out there, and we need to bring our A game. Got an A rating, fitting. Now I assume both of you are going to be on Team WCW. So both Booker T and DDP say this at the same time. Book says, "You damn right." DDP says, "Not yet." And Shane's like, "Good, great. Wait, did you say not yet? What do you mean?" And Paige says, "Well, Shane, you know that I bleed WCW, but I'm also a businessman. And last week I won big. Last week I beat Team WWF's team captain, The Rock. So the way I see it, I should be WCW's team captain." And Book says, "Man, shut up, Paige. We all know the team captain is the world champion." Paige responds, "Oh, I know. Trust me. I know." Shane then looks at Paige. "So if you know, why would you say that?" "Oh, I guess I wasn't clear enough. Not only do I want to be WCW's team captain, but I want and think I've earned a shot at the WCW World Championship." And that's when Book kind of gets a little aggressive here, and he says, "You've got to be kidding me." That's when Shane kind of interrupts. "Okay, what? Tell me, Shane, tell me you didn't just say what I think you said." And Shane replies, "I'm sorry, Book, but Paige is right. Last week he scored a huge victory over The Rock. If anything, he's earned his shot. So tonight, in our main event, it'll be Booker T defending his WCW World Championship against Diamond Dallas Page." DDP's like, "Yes!" And then Shane says, "But no matter who comes out as champion tonight, I can count on both of you to be on Team WCW, right?" DDP replies, "Fair enough. You can count on me, boss." Shane then looks at Booker T. "Right, Book?" Book sits there kind of, a little pissed off right now, but he says, "Yeah, you know I'll be there. But you better watch your damn back, Paige." And then Paige says, "If I were you, Book, I'd make these last few minutes with that title memorable. See you out there, champ." And we have our main event, Nerds and Geeks. Tonight we will see Booker T defending his WCW World Championship against Diamond Dallas Page. We have a little bit of team warfare here. First time we're seeing a little bit of tension between WCW guys, but of course, DDP being a little bit of an egotistical kind of guy. But not only that, he did beat The Rock cleanly last week. We all saw it. Pinned him straight in the ring. Rock going for the people's elbow. DDP diamond cutter catching him off guard. DDP hits the diamond cutter out of nowhere. Gets the victory, and he's earned his shot. Shane McMahon agrees. We're going to see that tonight. Michael Cole was pretty weak in his announcement, but that's to be expected. Did get the crowd hotter, though. People want to see DDP and Booker T. And Paul Heyman and Michael Cole then go on to put over that, yes, indeed, later on tonight, we will see Booker T battle Diamond Dallas Page. Doesn't really matter. But already in the ring, we have Billy Kidman, already with us, joined by us, we now have Rey Mysterio Jr., the WCW Cruiserweight Champion. And we're about to see some Cruiserweight action as Dean Malenko takes on Billy Kidman in a match that gets a C+ rating. And about that had decent wrestling, but not much weight and heat. Dean Malenko defeating Billy Kidman by submission with a Texas Cloverleaf in 7 minutes and 45 seconds. Dean Malenko had an in-ring performance of a B-, so Malenko's getting up there. Billy Kidman had a C. That's really good too. That's average, not really good. But Billy Kidman's only an opener, and considering some openers like Gregory Helms back over there are getting D's and stuff, it's pretty good for Billy Kidman. It's promising. Also, the Rey Mysterio Dean Malenko storyline advanced. As we can see here, I did indeed have Rey Mysterio on commentary, which is pretty good because, or actually I should say pretty impressive, because he wasn't negative. He wasn't positive, but he wasn't negative, so it shows he's not bad at commentary like we've seen with Dean Malenko and Lance Storm. Let me take a drink real quick. No worker improvements. Out of curiosity, I am going to look at the dirt sheet here. I want to see if Billy Kidman, of course, they're both faces, so we had that. Billy Kidman, nothing really special here. None of them really have star power or anything. They just both have high morale, so. We move on to our next segment, which gets a B-, which is pretty surprising to me. The match is over, but we have Dean Malenko still has the Texas Cloverleaf locked in on Billy Kidman, and he has it locked in. He's staring right at Rey Mysterio, who's on commentary. Billy Kidman sitting there screaming, tapping out, and Rey Mysterio finally gets up, slides into the ring. Dean Malenko lets go of the Texas Cloverleaf finally. The two of them, Rey Mysterio the champion, Dean Malenko the challenger, get in each other's faces, and they have a little bit of a stare down. And Malenko finally just kind of slides out of the ring while, continuing to stare at Rey Mysterio while Rey checks on his buddy Billy Kidman. B- here. That, like I said, that's pretty impressive considering it's a Dean Malenko Rey Mysterio segment. I wasn't really expecting them to get a B-. I was expecting a C+, the best. Guaranteed a B- is only a grade higher than a C+. That's still good. And Dean Malenko also getting better at his gimmick. Can't complain. Rey Mysterio and Dean Malenko's storyline gained heat as well. Overall, this was a good segment. I'm very satisfied with this. We then go on to a B rating. Again, this is good stuff. Solid B rating here. Backstage with Shane McMahon once again. This time we see him with the WWF Hardcore Champion, Ron Simmons. And Shane says, Ron, what you did last week was amazing. I mean, I won't lie. When I saw Bradshaw beat you last week, I was pissed. I was worried. But then you came through once again, and you truly showed me that you bleed WCW. When you put your friendship when you put your friendship to the side and beat down your old buddy and your old hangout, you know what, Ron? I've got to run some things by Rick and Lord Regal, but I can promise you now, you've got big things coming your way. Big. And then Ron Simmons just kind of, smiling. He's all like, yeah, all right, cool, whatever. He just kind of walks out of there, and as he's walking out, in walks Canyon, and he's all, laughing, and he's like, man, Shane, did you see what Ron did last week? And Shane's like, oh, yeah, it was awesome. And then Canyon replies, I know, right, man. I'm glad I'm not the hardcore champion anymore. Don't get me wrong. I want to be a champion. But that title and its stupid 24/7 rule was killing me. I couldn't sleep without, someone coming after me. Shane then looks up. Yeah, I bet. And then Canyon is like, Shane, that makes me think, though, ever since dropping the title, I've kind of faded into the background. And I don't want you thinking you can't rely on me anymore, because you can. And I want to prove it to you. So what do you say about getting me another title shot? And then Shane looks up and he goes, you want a title shot? Okay, Canyon, I can do that. A couple weeks back, Chronic had an impressive showing against the Hardy Boys for the WCW Tag Team titles. So coming up next, it'll be you versus Chronic for the number one contendership for the WCW Tag Team Championships. And Canyon's all like, well, that's great, Shane, that's great, but I don't have a partner. Then Shane just looks behind him. He goes, don't you? And then Canyon looks behind him and he sees Hugh Morris standing there with a big smile on his face, just waving at Canyon. And Canyon just kind of whispers, oh, you've got to be kidding me. And then Shane just looks and he goes, good luck, Chris. And that's the end of the segment as we fade to our commercial break. If you're wondering why he said good luck, Chris, that's Canyon's first name. It's Chris Canyon. So there you have that. B rating, though. That's pretty good. Hugh Morris underperformed, though, but that's whatever. He is improving in acting, though, so that is cool. So we then come back from our commercial break, and we have our number one contendership match, which is a C+ rating, and about that had decent wrestling, but not much weigh-in heat. Canyon and Hugh Morris getting the victory over Chronic, when Hugh Morris, of all people, Hugh Morris getting the upset victory over Brian Clark with a fast roll-up. So the way I'd probably imagine things going down here is Hugh Morris got the, unsuspecting tag on Canyon when Chronic was about to get the victory, or not the victory, but, hit their finisher or whatever it is, or some suplex bullshit. And pretty much basically it was, the surprise tag that nobody saw. So Hugh Morris is a legal man. Chronic is, they hit their finisher. Hugh Morris tosses one of them out, rolls the other one up, maybe even grabs the tights a little bit. 1, 2, 3, and Canyon and Hugh Morris are the number one contenders for the Hardy Boys Tag Team Championships. So Canyon was the best performer in this match, who had a B- rating. Hugh Morris had a solid C. Brian Adams had a C plus, and Brian Clark had a C. So not a too bad of a match. I'm not surprised at the rating though, considering all the men are heels. But that's what you get when most of WCW's roster are heels. So we have Chronic versus Canyon and... Oh, excuse me, not Chronic. What am I doing? Canyon and Hugh Morris versus the Hardy Boys. I almost did Chronic versus Canyon and Hardy Boys again. And pretty much what I was, I would hope for that match would be, what was I trying to say? It would be more like the comedy aspect of it, I could have made it the comedy, but I doubt that would have went well. I think I looked at Hugh Morris's comedy, or tried to, and it didn't show me. And, yeah, I just didn't want to make it horrible, like, oh, an E plus match. Either way, though, I'm basically my hope would be more of the comedy of Canyon and Hugh Morris not really getting, or Hugh Morris trying to get along with Canyon, but Canyon, kind of annoyed by Hugh Morris. I'd imagine them having a little bit of a celebratory victory thing after the match. Either way, we go on to an A rating here, which, again, don't get excited. Mark Jindrak and Sean Stasiak not rated here, mostly because I didn't really want them to bring it down, because I knew they would. So we see Vince McMahon and Big Show. They're walking around backstage. Remember now, Big Show is Vince McMahon's new bodyguard after what happened. And we're approached by Lord Steven Regal, and he's along with his bodyguard, Mark Jindrak and Sean Stasiak. And Regal says, "Oh, Mr. McMahon, how wonderful it is to see you. How is your jaw?" And Vince just kind of, chuckles, and he says, "Oh, Mr. Regal. I was actually hoping I'd see you tonight. I hope you heard the news about your hardcore match at Invasion." And Regal responds, "Oh, yes, sir." Look, they're both being a little cocky to each other. They're not being cordial, They may sound like they're being cordial, but they're just literally, kind of being cocky. "Oh, yes, I assure you, I'm very much looking forward to it, especially since I'll have my bodyguards with me." And then Vince sees, he says, he looks at both Jindrak and Stasiak, and he goes, "Oh, these are your bodyguards. Allow me to introduce you to my bodyguard, given, what you did. You may have met him before. He goes by the Big Show." And that's when Big Show steps forward, and Vince says, "And seeing you four men stand together here just gave me a brilliant idea. Given now how I've already proven this past Monday that you still work for me, and I still have the ability to book you in matches. But not only that, Mr. Regal, despite what you and WCW might think, this is still my damn show. So tonight you three will go out there for a 6-man tag against the Big Show and the WWF Tag Team Champions, the Brothers of Destruction. Good luck." And then Big Show just kind of smiles while Vince McMahon walks, away. And Vince McMahon just kind of, not Vince McMahon. Big Show kind of just backpedals while he's still rubbing his hands and smiling. So Michael Cole's still pretty weak, deserved better announcing. Big Show looked good. Regal was underwhelming, gained heat for Invasion, no worker improvements. We move on to our next segment. We're back from a commercial break, and we go to a C rating. We see in the ring while No, excuse me, no, this is not from a commercial break. This is after that segment, because I'd imagine that segment would have been after the commercial break. So we see the ring, and the commentators, they're talking about how the night's been going so far and what's been going down. And then suddenly, Chavo Guerrero Jr. jumps over the barricade, runs into the rings, while the commentators are just like, "Chavo Guerrero, last time I checked, Shane McMahon fired him. What's he doing here?" Chavo, he slides into the ring, and Chavo's like, "Hey, Shane McMahon, I know you're here tonight, Holmes, so I hope you're listening. My name is Chavo Guerrero Jr., and I'm part of the legendary Guerrero family that started with my grandfather, the great Gory Guerrero, and I'm sure you're familiar with my uncle Eddie Guerrero. So you think Shane McMahon and the WCW would appreciate having a member of a legendary family such as the Guerrero family on their side? Well, that's not the case as it would seem, since Mr. McMahon tossed me to the side like I was a piece of trash. Now I'm not leaving this ring until I get some respect around here. And that's starting with you, Mr. McMahon. So a few seconds pass while I imagine the crowd kind of booing Chavo. And that's when Lord Steven Regal's music hits, and he makes his way towards the entry and he goes, What the hell do you think you're doing? And Chavo says, What are you, blind? What does it look like I'm doing? I'm holding this show ransom until I get some respect. And, I believe I asked for Shane McMahon, not some British snob. And that's Regal said, Snob? Have you ever thought that maybe the best way to get respect is to earn respect? And I might not be who you asked for, but I am the man that you got. And since this is my show, and I'm the commissioner around here, I'm going to give you a chance to not only earn that respect, but your job back, because I've decided to put you in a match for the Hardcore Championship. And now let's bring out your opponent. And that's when Ron Simmons' music hits, and he walks to the ring, and we have our match, which is, not really an impromptu, because like I said, Ron Simmons, whenever he's in the ring, his Hardcore Championship is on the line, which is why I haven't done some matches, because I was like, oh, if he loses this match, he loses the Hardcore Championship, so that doesn't make sense. So we have an impromptu match. Oh, we have a gimmick change, that's right. Well, not yet, because we're building that up, so not quite yet. So we can move on to our next segment. We go on to the match, and we have a solid C rating here. In an extremely short match, Ron Simmons defeating Chavo Guerrero Jr. in 4 minutes and 53 seconds when he beats him with the Dominator, making his second defense of the Hardcore Championship. Simmons had a C+, Chavo had a C-, so they're not too far from each other. And that's kind of embarrassing for Ron Simmons, but he's up there in age, so. I don't think he's on a time decline, though. I think it's only like DDP and one of the members of Chronic. Either way, though, extremely short match, practically a squash match. Chavo, trying to fight, maybe got a couple moves in on Ron Simmons here and there, but at the end of the day, Simmons was too tough, hits the Dominator, 1, 2, 3, beats Chavo with an easy defense. Simmons also improving in technical. No, I meant to continue. I said no again, didn't I? We then go to an A rating, and we see Shane McMahon backstage in his office again with Ric Flair, that's when Ric Flair and Chris Benoit walk in, and Shane's like, Rick, Chris, thanks for stopping by. So I'm sure you both know that my father has challenged us at Invasion. His team versus our team, winner gets Smackdown, so I need to have my best. Now, I've already got Book and Page, although I won't lie, I'm hoping after tonight that those two can get along, no matter what the outcome is. But I need to know that I can rely on you both to be, on WCW, on Team WCW. And then Rick says, say no more, Shane. That was horrible. That we can assure you, that's still horrible, that the WCW and that the WWF Intercontinental, and that the Canadian crippler, my protege, Chris Benoit, will be on your team will be on Team WCW come Invasion. And Shane says, that's awesome, but I was actually talking about the both of you. I mean, who better to have on their team than the 16-time world champion? And while Shane is saying this, Rick's kind of getting fired up, like he's like, woo, every time. So the 16-time world champion, woo, the Nature Boy, Rick. Well, I'd imagine him probably saying some other thing. The style and woo, the profile and woo. And, all them catchphrases until he just goes, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, woo. And he goes, no one's more WCW than you. And then Rick says, woo, you can count on me, damn it. You can count on the Nature Boy, because I'll be there. I was hoping you would ask, Shane. And I'd probably, Rick being like, I didn't want to intrude or something. I thought maybe you just want me being a manager or I don't know. Something probably around there. And dropped my phone. And then Shane goes on, great. Now let's discuss our potential final members. And when he says members, that's because he means he has multiple people in mind to be the final members. Either way, the announcing job by Michael Cole again, pretty weak. But either way, Team WCW is filling up. We now know that we'll see Booker T and Diamond Dallas Page. One of those two men will be the WCW World Champion. And we'll see the Intercontinental United States Champion Chris Benoit. And to the surprise of everybody, his mentor, Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, is going to be on Team WCW, stepping in the ring. We haven't seen him in the ring yet. No worker improvements for this segment. We then go to a B- rating, the six-man tag match that was booked later or earlier tonight. In a decent match, Big Show and the Brothers of Destruction defeating Lord Steven Regal and Mark Jindrak and Shawn Stasiak. Mark Jindrak getting some more time in with his mentor. Look at that. When Big Show defeated Lord Steven Regal with the choke slam. So Big Show getting a little bit of revenge. You know what would have been fitting is if he did that knockout punch that he does. That would have been fitting. So let's imagine he did the knockout punch instead. Let's go with that instead. Knock out punch. He got the knockout punch on Regal, and 1, 2, 3 got the victory. So we got a B- here. Undertaker shown in the match. Taker's freaking great, guys. Kane came out of the match looking good. Kane had an A. Taker had an A star. Big Show had a B+. Shawn Stasiak had a what was I trying to say there? Shawn Stasiak had a D+. Mark Jindrak C-. He's getting up there. He's moving up. And Regal at a C+. Invasion storyline gained some heat. And that's a pretty good, yeah. I'm not angry at the rating. I want to make that clear. I'm angry that once again my dumbass forgot to put the segment before the match. So before this match, and we'll see the segment afterwards, Shane McMahon had a segment with Booker T and Diamond Dallas Page. Imagine those two are switched around, even though they're not. But then again, that's not the main event portion of it anyway. So we go to a C+ rating, not the best match in the world. C+ rating, that's because we have a lot of interference. I said not the best match in the world. Look at this. In a superb match? What? Booker T and Diamond Dallas Page drawing. If it's a superb match, it should not be a C+. They have a draw in 12 minutes and 30 seconds. When the match descended into the chaos, after we had Team WWF practically come out and get involved in the match, beating down on the two members of Team WCW. So it did deserve better announcing. Both Page and Booker had a B+. Rock and DDP lost heat, but Chris Jericho and Booker T gained heat. No worker improvements, but in a superb match, that makes me wonder, what if we didn't have the interference? So this was before the match. So we go to a B+. This is before going to our commercial break, before the World Championship match that we just witnessed. We see Shane McMahon in his office for the last time with both Diamond Dallas Page and Booker T, and he says, "All right, guys, now look, I know you both got an important match coming up against each other. And I know that there's no more richer prize in our company than the one that you two are fighting over tonight. But you two need to understand that this belt is meaningless if there's no WCW. Now I understand that you both want this title and the honor that comes with it, as does everybody else in the back. But after tonight, no matter who wins, no matter who loses, I need to know that after tonight's match, I can count on you both." And they both are just kind of like, "Yeah, you can." And then Shane says, "I hope so. But I also want to make sure that tonight's match goes down clean. So before you two go out there, I want you two to shake hands." And then the two shake hands, but they're kind of like having a little bit of stare down. DDP's just kind of like smiling, shaking his head, while Booker T's just sitting there, angry. And we didn't just, fade to commercial. The performance of DDP was good. DDP's impressive. He's being impressive. So that was before the match. So now we go to our C+ match that then, descended into chaos for the World Championship. And then after that match is over, we go to an A rating. The match is over, but Vince McMahon, along with Team WWF, are still looking to send a message to Shane and WCW through Booker T and DDP pretty much. Booker T and DDP, they're trying to fight them off, but the number game is too strong. It's 5 against 2, and they're beating them down. And eventually that leads to the WCW United States and WWF Intercontinental Champion Chris Benoit, not Raw, alongside his mentor manager Ric Flair, who I couldn't fit in this angle, unfortunately, because I used up all my space. Which that sucks, because that means that we can't have a 10-man, which I already knew this, but we're not going to be able to have all the members of Team WWF and WCW shown on the same screen in an angle. But either way, imagine Ric Flair's here. The reason why I say that is because Ric Flair is indeed Benoit's manager as well, so of course he should be in here somewhere. They race to the ring to help fend off the WWF threats, but still, number game is still too strong. It's 5 against 4, and Team WWF ends up sending the 4 members of Team WCW out of the ring and back to the locker room as they just kind of, talk trash and, beg WCW to get back in the ring while WCW just kind of backpedals to the back of the locker room. So Paul Heyman and Michael Cole pretty weak on the commentary here. As we can see, it's even telling us deserve better announcing, deserve better color commentary. The Rock was the real star in the segment. Big Show came across well. Undertaker looked good. Kane looked good. DDP looked good. Chris Benoit looked good. Everybody looked good. Invasion gained heat. DDP Rock gained heat. Booker T and Jericho gained heat. Great segment. We end the show. There we go. And we get a solid B. And I was worried about this. I was worried about this right here, Nerds and Geeks. I had a feeling, but I was like, you know what, whatever. There wasn't enough attractive women on our show to satisfy our core male audience. So it increased our popularity in 2 regions, but overall lost us popularity in 21 regions. I should have paid a little bit. Well, I knew that that there wasn't any women on the show. I counted it myself, but I was thinking, you know what? I'm gonna test it, and I kind of wish I didn't now, because that would have been a great show, and I would have gained popularity everywhere. It still was a great show. Just, everyone's like, what? No chicks? It's just a sausage fest. I'm out of here. So that was Smackdown the Sausage Fest this week. But I'm sorry, there wasn't really any need for women. My bad. I mean, if I'm being honest, why? It was a great show. Everybody was putting on a good performance, and it was the top-rated segment on the Total Extreme Wrestling website. So I thought it was good. Vast majority liked it. Bunch of people can't have a show without women. And don't call me sexist just because I didn't have women on there. I mean, it was, you know what I mean. Come on. It's just a good show. It's just how it falls in place. Right now, I'm still kind of playing with the story that Lita's a little injured because I'll be honest, I wanted to introduce a new storyline with Lita, but I totally forgot to do it, and now it's a little too late because I don't want to just rush a storyline. So I'm kind of playing with the story that Lita's a little injured right now, and we'll see her officially back in a little while. That's why we haven't been seeing the Hardys either, because they've been helping, taking care of Lita. Either way, what's this? Texas Wrestling Academy has assigned Sabu to become the new head trainer. Good for them. And Jim Ross has the internet support about being the best wrestling announcer. UPN was unhappy that we did not meet the quality of the... Get over it, UPN. They're mad that we didn't have enough women on there. We need more sexy women. Brian Clark does not get it, apparently, from Jack Lanza. He can probably be cut loose soon. I kind of agree with you, to be honest. Whatever. Either way, I thought it was a good show. I'm sure you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, please leave me a like below. And as always, my name is OMGWTF, LOLF to WBRB, and I will see you guys for Sunday Night Heat. Or for Monday Night Raw, because I know not everybody watches Sunday Night Heat. So until then, have a great day, happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you guys later.